Welcome to the Self Love Uncensored Podcast. We are your hosts. I am Vanessa McWilliams.
And I'm Amanda Wozni.
And we are self-proclaimed experts in all things self-love.
Here you'll find uncensored discussions about life, living unapologetically, and becoming our best selves. Welcome to today's episode.
I think we're on, number 16 now?
I think so,
good.
Yeah.
I think we're 16. Look at us go.
16.
Sweet 16. And we're going to do girl talk today. We're going to talk about we don't really have a plan, really. We just started talking and
as we were making the plan, it was like, wait a minute, we should talk about that.
Yeah. Let's literally hit record and do talk about what we were just going to talk about, because I think it's so good. So good.
I think it is good.
Mm-hmm.
So it started because I wanted to tell Vanessa this story. So I decided, it was a few days ago. Back up. So a long time ago, I have to remember all the context, tell it in order.
Right.
How long ago was it? Like a year and a half ago that I finished the 75 Hard program, which I think I mentioned just briefly in my Get to Know Me episode, 15 episodes back. And anyways, I've undone some progress and I really liked the program. And I was like, thinking maybe I should restart it again or whatever. Right. And then the other day I was listening to, so it's created by Andy Frisella. I was listening to his latest podcast. It popped up on my phone. And I hit play and he had brought on this guest, and it was a girl who had recently finished doing 75 Hard. He saw her post on Instagram through the hashtags, and really liked what she said and the work that she had done or whatever, really resonated with her message. And he brought her on the podcast. And when I was going through it the first time, I remember thinking to myself, I don't remember about what day it was, towards the end when it got really hard towards the end, because it got really fucking cold. It was minus 61 degrees or something on day 72.
When you're posting your Instagram pictures with snot rockets frozen to your face.
My eyelashes were it looked like I had white feathers on my eyes. Yeah, it was crazy.
So crazy.
And somewhere in there, I got this idea in my head. I felt this energy connection. One day I was going to meet him. And that I felt like there was potential for me to be on his podcast telling my story. So when this girl was on there telling her story, I was like, oh, well, that's a sign from the universe. Right. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, that's really interesting, because that's something that I wanted for me. I really want to meet him. I really want him to hear what I went through. I mean, my experience this time is going to be different at summertime. Mm-hmm. So that changes that. But to be able to tell him the things that mentally I was able to push myself through, I think would be really cool, right? To tell the guy that created the program, you changed my life.
Totally.
So anyways, and then I got thinking, I was like, okay, well, I need to think of what I'm going to do for the nutrition portion, which is the most difficult part for me. Quick recap. So 75 Hard is 2 45-minute workouts a day. One has to be outside. Working out is really easy for me, so that's not a big deal at all. Reading 10 pages of a self-development nonfiction book, drinking a gallon of water, take a progress picture, no alcohol, no cheats, and following a diet plan. And that's up to you. So anyways, I'm also a Starbucks whore. I drink it nonstop.
Or
yeah, literally. I should own shares in the company for how much I drink it. But anyways,
so good.
So I was like, okay, if I'm gonna do it this time, I'm gonna quit the Starbucks with it. I'm just totally gonna quit drinking.
Well, did you quit Starbucks the first time you did it?
No. So the first time I did it, I was still drinking. That was one of my problems, is I used to drink a lot of calories. So I allowed myself to have my one coffee a day from there, or I could make it at home. But obviously I went there all the time. Their espresso just tastes better on a $20,000 machine than it does on a $200 machine. I tried making it home. It's not the same.
It is never the same.
So no. So last time I allowed myself one coffee a day. And then that had to fit within my macros and my calories, which was my main. I think I did 1,800 calories and a vegetable at every meal was my nutrition last time. It was pretty simple. So anyways, I decided, okay, I'm going to quit drinking it because it's been in my mind for a long time. I mean, it has multiple benefits. Obviously, I shouldn't be reliant on the caffeine. I don't need any of the sugar content, and I can't get the sugar-free stuff because I'm allergic. So that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm allergic to artificial sweeteners, so that makes it difficult. And then obviously there's the financial benefit. Like it's expensive.
Mm-hmm. Oh
It's
yeah.
very expensive.
Yep.
So yeah, I decided that I was going to quit drinking Starbucks as part of it. So this was all in the same day so far. Okay. So in the morning, I listened to the podcasts, and then I was like, Kate, yeah, like let's start tomorrow or whatever. This is a couple of days ago. I'm officially started today. Today's day one. Took me a couple of days to get my shit in a group, but whatever.
Totally.
Anyways, so I was like, okay, well, whatever. I'm gonna go up, and I had enough points on my point system for a free drink, and I was like, I may as well wipe this out, and then I'll delete the app, right?
Yeah.
So I went up and I got my coffee when I picked up my kid, and I came home and I went in the garage to do my workout because our gyms were still closed here as of that point. And of course, all the kids come out because that's just what kids do. And they started fighting. And I was sitting on my workout bench, and I had my coffee sitting in front of me. I'd had precisely one sip out of it at this point. It was still hot, just got home. Kids are already fighting. And I had to get up to go deal with the situation. And as I got up, my foot like hooked the bench, and the coffee like wobbled and fell right over top and spilled the whole fucking thing on the floor. And I had just cleaned the gym, which I didn't mention the first time. So like when I clean my garage gym, I like vacuum, I mop the floors, like it's serious business. Like it's a serious space to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it got all under my rubber stall mats and all under the foam and all in between all the cracks and all over the fucking floor. And I was just like, are you shitting me right now? Yeah. Like you literally put this podcast episode in front of me to remind me of something that I had wanted that I had completely forgotten about. Yep. And then I said I was going to do action ABC, and you just fucking knocked A right out of my hands and onto the floor. And we're like
the universe slapped it out of your hands. You said you were going to have this.
Oh, I was so mad. And I was just like, I was so angry because this was supposed to be the last one that I was going to enjoy. Like, why did you have to take it away from me?
Yeah. But isn't that so the universe?
Yes.
Once you say you're going to do something, the universe is like, oh, I see your hand and I'm going to raise you 20.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
it was fucking rude. So anyways, it clearly was for a reason though, because it pissed me off enough where I was like, okay, do I want to be mad about a spilled coffee forever and keep drinking them? Or do I want to be mad about the progress that I could have made in the amount of time that's lapsed since the last time I did this program?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, it was a very forceful redirect. Totally. I feel like, and very timely too. Like it's been something that's been on my mind for a while. And yeah, we started talking about this, and Vanessa was like, the universe does the same thing to me. And it's like, yeah, like the signs are, sometimes they're really subtle and you might miss them. And sometimes they're literally like a fucking spilled coffee that makes you want to cry.
Yeah. Oh, sometimes you just hit it on the head. Yeah. Sometimes it's super subtle and you can totally overlook it, or you can think like, oh, that was just a coincidence, or like just kind of think it away. And then other times it's like you get sideswiped riding your bike down a road by a fucking blimp. Like you could see the blimp coming.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. Like when you and I were talking about this earlier, I had made mention that as soon as you started talking about the universe and spilling the coffee, I was like, oh fuck, I got a story for you too. Like I remember this would have been maybe 5 years ago, because I've been a master trainer with Transformation Weekend now for 4 years, I believe. Where does the time go? Seriously.
I know.
But the year before I had been asked to become master trainer and committed to the group. I had put on my vision board at Transformation Weekend that I, as an attendee, that I wanted to be a master trainer. And so when the opportunity came up, of course I jumped on it. I was a little hesitant because I was like, I had some self-worth issues that I had to deal with. I had massive healing that I still had to do from my childhood. I had a lot of work still to do that I felt like I wasn't at the place that everybody else who was taking the program was at. I felt like I was a little behind. And so I had made, just the thought that, okay, if I'm going to take this seriously, I have some massive healing that I actually have to face and really do. And I didn't really know how that looked. Right. And so fast forward to when we were doing event prep for the transformation weekend, that year that I was the first year that I was a master trainer, we had all, usually every time, I can't talk today, before every event, we all, like, our whole team gets together and we do transformation weekend all together as a group, because we always do the work ourselves before we teach it to other people, always.
Yeah.
But we also all get together and do event prep together. And this is about a month and a half before the actual big event happens. And I remember laying in bed the one night, and it was the night before we were all to get together for our first event prep at a friend's house, one of the other Catalyst crew that was helping with the event. And we hadn't got our address yet. We hadn't done anything, but we were just waiting to find out where we were going the next night. And it literally was like 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night. I get this message that went out to everybody, and it's from our Catalyst crew member who was hosting us. And she said, okay, can't wait to see everybody. And here's my address. And in that moment, I read the address and I went, holy fuck. This is within like a couple of weeks, maybe not even a couple of weeks, when I thought to myself, like, I don't know if I'm really fit to be a trainer. Like, I have some healing to do and whatever. And I read the address, and it was my childhood home. She had bought my childhood house.
So crazy.
Right? Like 2 or 3 people had bought the house in between her having it and owning it. But I was like literally laying in bed looking at the address. And this is the house where I lived from when I was like 3 or 4 years old till I was 13 or 14. So this is the house that I developed alopecia in. This is the house that saw all the trauma. This is the house that I cried myself to sleep every night. Like, so crazy. So instantly I replied to her and I was like, oh my God, you're never going to believe this. And I'm going to be really weird when I come to your house tomorrow, because I've asked for like massive healing. And this is the universe going, oh, okay, I see your
welcome
request.
Home.
Yes, exactly. And I have to tell you, like, walking in to that front door was like being transported back in time, because even though like the walls were different color, people that had owned the house after us had done some changes cosmetically. So it didn't look like, my house, but I could still remember where the TV was and sitting in front of the TV when I was 5 eating Cheerios or Fruit Loops, right? Like, I could still remember the countless Christmas trees that we had in the front window and, all of the fun things. But I also instantly had this feeling, like this pull, as soon as I was in the living room in the front, that I needed to go upstairs to my front bedroom. Like, I needed to go back to my room. And I have never had such a soul cleansing experience than standing outside of my childhood room and literally walking through that threshold and standing in it. Right? Like, all those memories flooded back to me, all the nights that I cried myself to sleep, and all the nights that I was scared of what I was seeing. And just the nights my mom and dad would crawl into bed with me because they couldn't console me to go to sleep. And, like the uncertainty and the scariness of it all. And so the fact that the universe was like, oh, okay, like a week ago, you asked for healing. Here you go. Let's take you right back to the root of this.
Yes.
Literally, like, and I was even saying to you before we hit record that I found on my wall where my bed used to be, kids in school used to call me Baldy. That was what they used to tease me and say. And the one night I remember taking a thumbtack and carving into the drywall the word Baldy. And I thought to myself, when I was standing there, I remembered that was there, that was something that I had done. And I thought, holy fuck, like, could you imagine if that was still there? And I did. I got down on my hands and knees and I looked, and sure enough, someone had painted over it, and it was lower down on the wall that you wouldn't have seen it unless you were actually looking for it. And sure enough, it had been painted over a couple times, but you could still see the indent in the wall and you could see where it said Baldy. And that for me was like the most amazing gift that the universe could have given me. But holy fuck, was it hard. Like, I was not prepared for that within 24 hours of, asking for the thing. And all of a sudden it's like, boom.
That's what I mean with the signs. Right? Like, sometimes you can miss them, and sometimes they are so blatantly obvious that it's like, that there's something greater that's at work out there. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Like, I just remember hearing, like, standing in the middle of the bedroom, and I mean, it was their spare room, because they didn't have little kids at the house at the time. And I remember just standing there and, like, I could hear everybody, because we probably had 25 people downstairs, all the master trainers, all the Catalyst crew, everybody all together, and everyone's laughing and having fun. And I just remember standing there and going, it felt like I was in a totally different place. Like, I didn't even feel like, I felt like I was the only person in that house. It was so crazy. It was so crazy. And then I was like a ball of the whole night. Everyone was asking me questions. So, like, I don't know what we're talking about. Like, I'm not here right now for event prep. I am here, like,
it's 9-year-old Vanessa's here. Don't talk to me.
100%. Oh, I cried. And but at the same time, it was actually really awesome to be able to experience that with everybody there. Like, even though they didn't really, everyone knew, like, I was like, holy fuck, like, you're never going to believe this. And I told everyone, but still no one really understands, like, how poignant it is. But at the same time, like, how 360 is it to walk out of that house in a time of, like, massive pain and trauma, and be able to come back in with a group that's so supportive and wants nothing but growth and healing for you, right? Like, it was really amazing. I left thinking, like, 9-year-old me would be so proud. It was crazy. So
that's so wild.
Watch for the signs, my friends.
Well, and, like, just further proof too that, like, everything happens for a reason. Every decision that you made in your life up until that moment led you back there to do the healing. Like, you know that you're 100% on the path that you're supposed to be on.
Yeah. Oh, 150. And even in that, like, a lot of times we have the ability to make those decisions for ourselves, right? Like, I could have got that address and thought, oh no, there's too much pain and trauma there, and turned away from it, and missed out on that opportunity. But sometimes when we think that something is presented to us is presented in a negative, sometimes it's actually presented to us to be able to face our fear, and be able to face the trauma, and be able to actually gain healing for it. Not to say that what happened was okay. Of course, I don't think that any of the teasing and any of the bullying and any of the things that happened to me outside of that house, but then was brought home with me to deal with internally, and deal with the trauma privately, none of that was right. But for me to be able to face it again, and be able to finally put it to bed, and, say, okay, I'm okay. It's okay. And to be able to forgive it for my heart, I think was the greatest gift. So I'm a true believer that when we have the opportunities to be able to face what we are scared of, or what we fear, or trauma from the past, it can actually be one of our greatest gifts to ourselves.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah. I totally
so
agree.
Good. I'm so glad we hit record today, and we didn't just keep this conversation to ourselves.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's wild. It's just wild. And as you start to talk to people about it, like, you just realize how many people see this happen and have this happen in their life. Like, if you're not paying attention, maybe after listening to this, you will start paying attention, but there are no coincidences. Everything happens for a very specific purpose. And it doesn't matter what specifically it is that you believe in. You just believe that something out there is at work and trying to give you your greatest opportunities in your best life.
100%. And we just have to, and to add to that, like, I think it's super important also to remember, we also have to do the work, right? Like, we can't just sit back and be like, oh, there's a master plan for us, and wait for it to happen, right? Like, you have to do the work too. And that's the hard part, is taking the first step, because the universe won't take the first step. You have to be the one to make something happen first. And then the universe takes you seriously and goes, oh, challenge, level up, spill your coffee. Slap the coffee out of your hand.
I don't know. I think that might have been taking the first step for me.
Right? So good though. But I totally understand how you feel, like, when you say that you just have that connection with Andy, like, how you feel that. I felt like that for a very long time before I went to the Ellen show. I know exactly what you mean. Fuck yeah. People used to think I was crazy when I used to tell people, like, I'm going to meet Ellen. Like, I'm going to go to the show. I'm going to the show. And I think I had phrased it wrong, because I used to always say I'm going to the show. I never would say I'm going to be on the show until, like, years later. And I did end up going to the show. And that was the first time I ever went out in public bald, was to the Ellen show. Like it's so crazy because I used to always have that feeling that I know that this is going to happen. I just know it. Like no one can talk me out of knowing it. Like, I knew it as I knew the trees outside were green. I knew I was going to go. So when you have that knowing, you have to protect
or that
that
pull,
and trust
like
it.
it's just
it's
totally a pull. Like there's something there that really matches my energy and my goals and my ambitions, and like that's a connection that I feel like the universe is pushing me to make.
Totally. So good.
Yeah. Anyways, to spin off of what you just said, I promised I was going to read this to you and I didn't read it to her in advance. Talking about doing the work.
Yes.
And then circling this back to self-love. So I was reading my 10 pages of my book today while I was waiting to pick up my kiddo. And I'm reading this book called Tough by Greg Everett. He's an Olympic weightlifting coach that I love and follow online. And the book is like all about developing mental toughness. And like I was telling you, some of it's related to sport. Very little of it is. It's more like just generally speaking. But I found it really interesting that he talked about self-love and how self-love needs to be, or whether it should be conditional or unconditional. So I'll read you what he read because I loved it. Unconditional means that the status is unchanged no matter what. Irregardless of the circumstances, whatever quality it's being used to describe is immutable, unvarying, constant, reliable. In other words, unconditional self-love means that irrespective of the situation, of our choices, of our accomplishments or failures, of our ambitions or complacency, of who we are or what we're doing at the moment, we love ourselves just as much at any other moment. This strikes a lot of us as misguided and even dangerously forgiving. Should we really love ourselves so much if we're unaccomplished, unambitious, and seemingly without purpose? But what we have to bear in mind is that unconditional self-love doesn't mean unconditional acceptance, as we might understandably conclude without taking adequate time to consider. Unconditional love for ourselves does not mean accepting what and who we are unconditionally. It means loving ourselves enough to change what needs to be changed, to make progress towards our personal ambitions. It doesn't mean being satisfied or content with our current status or condition. It means caring enough about our own well-being to do what we need to do in order to be what and who we want. It doesn't mean relocating the goalpost to be closer to our present position and directly aligned with our existing trajectory. Unconditional self-love is not complacency or surrender. It's a reason to never surrender.
Yes.
Oh my God. Fucking awesome.
Just tattoo that on my head.
I think I read that. It took me forever to read my 10 pages because I think I read that page like 15 times. I was just like, is there a better way to put it?
Yeah.
Like,
well, and that's exactly it. Like I don't even know how you could say it any better than that, because that's exactly it. Like there is an element to self-love where like you have acceptance for who you are, and because you are good enough and your worth is not tied to what your body looks like and all the things, right? Like, there is that element to self-love, but he's right in the sense that self-love doesn't mean that you're complacent. Self-love doesn't mean, like, for me to be able to say, oh, I love who I am, I don't have to exercise and take care of my body and read and better myself, and I'm good enough the way that I am. That's not true self-love. True self-love is a tiny little bit of knowing that if nothing changed about me right now, yes, I'm good enough. Yes, my body's worthy exactly how I am. But a massive part of self-love is knowing that I do want to make myself better, not better. Yeah. I don't even like that word, but I do want to strive for something greater, right? I do want to take care of my body. I do want to move my body. I do want to drink all the water. I do want to have goals that I want to achieve or goals that I'm going to fail. I want to try, because that is true self-love, is taking care of your mental and your body and all of it, right? Like, it marries itself, but complacency and just say, no, I'm great the way that I am. Yeah. I don't have to change a thing. That's not self-love. That's ego.
And I think that's the point of what he's driving home, is that self-love does not equal self-acceptance. Self-acceptance is part of self-love. Yeah. I feel like self-acceptance is maybe the very first step where you can accept where you are. However, the next step is to start making action towards something, right? Like self-acceptance. And I love the way he said it. Like, it doesn't mean that you move the goalposts to where you are. That is staying complacent. That's staying stuck. That's staying small. That's staying where you are and where you're comfortable. And you're never going to accomplish all the things that are in your mind and in your heart if that's where you want to stay. So self-acceptance is fantastic. And that's a great launch pad, but you need to start pushing forward, whatever that looks like for you. It might have nothing to do with your body. But
and it could be something really small. It could be something really big, right? Like and we can't put that on a scale of how great something is, right? Like something really small to me could be massive to you. Something really like you doing your deadlifts and stuff with your hundreds of pounds of weights, like, and I'm in my basement doing little 5-pound dumbbells. Like it's just the actual showing up and doing the thing. It doesn't matter how big or small that it is. So good.
I know.
100% agree.
I need love that.
Yeah. Well, and it is so hard. Like I find that is one of my struggles as a coach, especially like trying to get my message out on Instagram and stuff, is you have 30 seconds, to say a little thing that you want to say and, do a little funny bikini reel and do the things. And it's so hard to say that the way that he said it. Yeah. Like I'm going to get, well, I won't get you to type it out. Maybe send me a picture of it. I'm going to put it up in my office because that is so good.
It's so good. It's so well said and so clear, and it really fits for everybody, right? Like I know that most of our audience is going to be women, but it goes for anybody. Like, and it, like we said, it doesn't have to be about your body, your life, your relationships, your career, anything, right? Like accept where you are, but then move, like get your ass in gear and start doing the things that you say you want to do.
And just start small. That's one of the things that I get, especially my coaching clients do, is, people always have an idea of what they want to do and what they want to be. And it can feel so unrealistic or can feel so unattainable when you're looking at the big picture. No one expects you to climb a mountain tomorrow, right? No. You start by putting your shoes on and walking around the block, right? Like you have to really take your big goal, whatever that is. If you don't know what that is, that's what a coach can help you figure out. But really take it into small little chunks that can be actionable things you can do every day. And those little actionable things are the things that is where self-love grows, because that's it. You're striving for something better. Right. I think it's really important to also mention that we have seasons that we go through in life, right? Like a lot of people might have a growth season where you're like, yes, and you want to do all the things and woo, woo, woo. And then all of a sudden, a couple months later, you might just feel like, okay, I'm not so much burnt out. Some people do burn themselves out when they go balls to the wall. But just like in seasons in life, like we've got summer, spring, winter, fall, like we have that same season within ourselves as well, where sometimes we have growth season, which is your spring and your summer. And then sometimes we have, the season totally. And you and I were talking about that last week, right? Like sometimes we do have things that come up that don't prohibit, but that can put a wrench into our plans and force us to slow down. And that's just the winter season of life, right? But it's so important in those rest seasons of winter in our life that we don't stop trying to get to the goal, but we just choose different actions that are going to help us rest at the same time. Right. So 75 hard is definitely not a rest season thing.
No, but it's not a 365 day hard for the rest of your life kind of thing. Right. So it's just meant to more be, for me, it's just going to be a mental reset to get myself back in complete integrity and in alignment with what my goals are, because it fits extremely well with what my goals are. And it's definitely not for everybody. So I'm not saying that. I know some people are highly critical of the program, but it's for me, I'm coming out of contraction, and that's going to be like the beginning of my growth phase for sure. So,
well, and that's the biggest thing I think to highlight about the program is that most people who hear, 2 workouts a day, one has to be outside, you have to drink this much water and all the things, like it's actually not about that. No, that's not what 75 hard is. 75 hard is keeping your word to yourself to say that you're going to do the things and fucking do them.
Yeah.
That's
No matter what.
No matter what. No matter if you've got your eyeballs frozen shut in minus 40-degree weather. Like you said, you're going to do the thing, fucking do the thing. And that's where self-love grows. That's where confidence grows, right? Like, and that's the thing about 75 hard. It has nothing to fucking do with the workouts. It has nothing to do with the water diet, and how many times you pee. Yeah. Yep.
That's exactly it. And it's like I said, it's not for everybody. If you don't like parts of it, that's totally fine. Nobody's forcing you to do it. Right.
Yeah, totally.
And it's an integrity thing. It's a mental growth program. Like it is.
I've done it 3 times and I failed 3 times. Twice technically wasn't my fault, but that's okay. One blatantly was. I woke up in the middle of the night and forgot to take a progress picture. It was like 1 a.m. I was like, fuck. And this is the thing is if you don't do even one of the things, you have to start again. So if you're on day 74 and you wake up and you didn't take a progress picture the next day, you're on day 1.
Yeah.
I mean, and no one's holding you accountable but you. So you could definitely, I'm sure many people who are like, I did it. And somewhere along the line flubbed, and that's fine. That's on them. That's between them and them. Right. But like, I think we talked about it before. I fell out of Greg's truck one time onto ice and really badly bruised my ribs. Like there's no fucking way. It hurt to breathe, let alone do anything else. And then the other time I got salmonella really bad. And I texted you and our friend sitting in the hospital in my gown. I think I need to stop. I have explosive diarrhea. I am literally not leaving my house.
Literally.
Just
doing bicep curls on the toilet. It's fine.
Right? Oh my God. Yeah, that was awful. But there again, like, forced rest. My body needed.
And the universe, you weren't meant to do it then and there. Yeah. Maybe you never will. Maybe some other day you're going to be like, you're going to wake up and you're going to go, I need to do that. Now's the time.
Well, and I took lots from it. Like I still drink more water now in the last 6 months than I have in a long time. Like I still now strive. I have many goals that I made around it, right? Like I have to drink, I have my big Starbucks tumbler. I have to drink 4 of these every day. So that's 100 ounces of water. I took the no alcohol. So I haven't had any booze since New Year's Eve. So June 10th, I don't know how many days that is, but like I haven't had any booze. That's been one of my goals for 2021 is dry 2021. I still read my books, my personal development books. Like I've taken chunks of it that I knew were going to enrich my life and hold myself accountable, but without doing like the full 75 hard. So it's still been a win-win. But I definitely can't say that I've achieved it yet, but one day I will. It just won't be tomorrow.
That's right. But I only got 74 more to go. It's 1 p.m. or almost 1 p.m.
You can do it. Well, how many times have you been successful? Once?
Twice? Just the once. So the first time that I did it. And then I did go on to phase 1 and I got almost through phase 1 and then I screwed up. And then there wasn't enough. I left a really big gap between when I had finished 75 hard and went into phase 1, because the whole 75 hard 1, 2, 3 is meant to be done like within a calendar year. Right.
Okay.
And I had left so much time that I didn't have time to restart it.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So if I had started it like 2 weeks earlier, then I could have restarted phase 1. But because I left it so late, you have to start the whole thing all over again.
Oh, balls.
Yeah. I know.
Oh.
And it's funny because my least favorite part of phase 1 takes everything from 75 hard and it adds a few things. And one of the things it adds is a 5-minute cold shower. And I'm like, I loved my hot showers, like boiling hot. Like my husband won't even get in there at my temperature because it's too hot. And now I very often willingly have an ice cold shower. Amazing. I'll like wash my hair with like warmish water. I don't wash it with super hot water. And then I'll literally turn it like as cold to the point where I'm like, like when I get in the water, I like sharp inhale and I'm like convincing myself to like turn all the way around in the shower kind of thing. And it feels so good.
Oh, it's like the working yourself up. Yeah. Working yourself to get up into it is the hardest part. I remember a couple of years back, we had our water heater died on us. Yeah. And I went to have a shower after work. And this was when I was cleaning houses. So I was like, I have to have a shower when I get home from work. And literally turned on my shower and I'm standing there butt ass naked, waiting for like my hand in the water, waiting for it to warm up. And it wasn't warming up. And it was like starting to just drop off to cold. And I was like, what the hell? And so then I called my husband and he's like, well, go downstairs and check to see if there's a flame, blah, blah, blah. Did all the things.
Yeah.
Figured out something wasn't working on the water heater. So I was like, oh my God, I can't not have a shower. Like I have other people's dirtiness on me and cleaning.
Yeah.
Like, I smell like Lysol and dirt. Like I need to have a shower. Yeah. And that's what I did. I like jumped in as fast as I could. I had the world's fastest shower.
Well, good thing you don't have any hair to wash.
Right? I had a camping shower, one of those ones where you just turn it on, get wet, shut it off, soap up, turn it on, rinse off, get out as fast as you can. But I felt really good afterwards. Like it's really good for I think it's your lymphatic system, isn't it? It gets,
it has really good health benefits. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know if I'm at the point where I'd be willing to, maybe I'll try. Hey man, there's a goal for me this week before our next podcast record. I'll see if I can have a quick little burst of cold. Cause I'm like you, I like my super hot baths, like boil me like a chicken, 100%.
Yeah. I always do it at the end. Like I get all my other stuff out of the way when I'm not when I was doing phase 1, the first couple times I would do that, I would like get all my stuff done. And then I would like reach out and start a timer on my phone. Cause 5 minutes is a long ass fucking time when you're standing in ice cold water, in case you don't know.
Yes.
So anyways, I was doing that. And then I was like, this isn't right. The intention is not there. Right. And that's a really big part of the 75 hard program too, is that you do everything with intention. You don't just do it to get through it kind of thing. You're not just checking a box. Right.
Yeah. There's purpose.
And so I stopped doing that and I started from start to finish with a cold shower. So then I wasn't worrying about the timer. Yeah. I was going in with it cold. I was washing my hair. I was washing my face. I was shaving my legs. I was doing everything in ice cold water. So it was I have a fucking shit ton of hair. So it's like a 15 to 20 minute shower in cold water. It felt so good.
I cannot. I don't know how you guys do it or how you girls do it. Honestly, like I'm in
the hair. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Like when I have
much work.
When I see, or when I'm like within people, like a conversation with people who are talking about like, oh, I have to wash my hair on Sunday. I can't do it any other day. I'm like, why? And then they're like, well, because it takes like so long to do it and so long to dry it. And if you like, I have no idea.
With that.
Yeah. I only learned recently that you're not supposed to shampoo your actual hair. You're only supposed to shampoo your scalp. I never knew that. Like that was never
I shampoo
I ever thought.
Here and like halfway down, because anything that can get greasy, and then oil. Conditioner is the opposite. Conditioner you want like in the end and not on your scalp.
Yeah, I had no fucking clue.
I know. And because I have like the color that I have in my hair, so I try to only wash my hair like once a week.
Yeah.
And since I figured that trick out, I only learned that a couple of years ago too. And now my hair doesn't get super greasy in between. Like it takes a full week before like you can notice that I have oil in my hair. Yeah. It's a lot of work. Like my hair takes like 45 minutes to blow dry and then like another 20 to 30 minutes to straighten. And like,
oh my gosh,
it's so much work.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why I like to only do it once a week. Cause I'm not going to do that every day. I don't have time for that.
No.
Who has time for that?
I don't like to shave my legs because it takes too much time. It's only like 3 minutes because my legs are kind of patchy. So it's like, whatever. Yeah. I'm super ignorant because I'm like, I don't know. Like people talk about their hair and I'm like, what? You don't just wash it every day? Like, I don't fucking know. I just thought it was a thing. But yeah, it's like fascinating to me when I see our friends on social media and stuff like talking about their hair routine and stuff. I'm like, dry shampoo? Like, don't even get me fucking started on dry shampoo. I never thought that was a thing. Yeah. Like, how does that work? It looks like chalk, but you can't tell. It like disappears.
In one sense, you're lucky for what you've been given.
Oh, I do feel that some days. Like the grass is always greener, right? Always.
Oh yeah.
Always. But yeah, there's some days when I'm just like, I get out of the shower and I don't very rarely, well, I shouldn't say that. I very rarely towel dry my head Because by the time I
Yeah.
get out of the shower and grab my towel, my head's already dry. Like I don't need to. I don't even have to towel it off.
See,
So
and
I
if
feel
I
bad for you
go, if I
guys.
like shower at night and go to bed, I'll wake up in the morning and my hair's still damp. It doesn't even dry all the way overnight. Like it's,
I do have to tell you, I do have a memory from when I was a kid of waking up. I don't remember what had happened, but I had gone to bed with wet hair. And I
yeah,
believe maybe my dad or my grandparents were babysitting us, and I had showered before bed. And I remember I woke up in the morning and my pillow was wet.
yeah,
And my mom got upset because she was like, I don't have time to do this. Cause my hair was like, I guess
wild.
unruly or something. Yeah. And she was like, you have to go to school. I don't have time for this. I didn't know you went to bed. And I remember that, like
Yeah,
that feeling of waking up and I was cold and my pillow was all like
yeah,
wet and gross. I remember that.
yeah,
Yeah. So funny, but I don't remember
yeah.
the sensation of hair, like pulling a ponytail. I don't remember that like sensation of like hair on my
Well,
head or
just stick
touching
some
hair.
duct tape on and pull it until your eyes go like
Just
this.
do this.
It's not enjoyable. I get headaches from it
Oh,
because my hair is so long. So
well, and I do remember I used to get headaches wearing a wig.
yeah,
That was one thing that I was very grateful that I didn't wear wigs for, was just the fact that I used to get headaches from wearing the wigs, the pressure on my head. Yeah,
yeah,
it's just, to let all that go has been one of the greatest gifts I've given myself.
yeah.
100%, because yeah,
It's a good financial thing too, because you don't got to waste money on all that shit. No
fuck
blow
yeah.
dryers, no hair
Yeah.
strainers, no shampoo and conditioner.
Yeah. I literally go to the grocery store and I'm like, or Walmart or whatever. And I'm like, what's on sale? Cause my family has super generic hair. Like they don't have anything special with their hair and they don't care. They're
Yeah.
boys. So I
Yeah.
just buy what's on sale and there you go. And then whenever my husband
Yeah.
has in the shower, I'm like, oh, Axe body wash for men. Sure. I'll put that on my head. I don't care. I'll smell like a
Yeah.
dude. Or worst comes to worst, we're camping. I just use Dove soap because I
Yeah.
don't have enough hair up there anyways. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. It's so crazy. It's so
Wild.
crazy. Our conversation just went to a hard left, but that's okay.
Yeah,
Welcome to the life
it
of
did.
Vanessa and Amanda.
That's right.
Welcome to our brains.
Yeah.
So good.
Yes.
So good. Did you have anything else you wanted to add with the universe?
No,
and
I
stuff?
don't think so. No.
So good.
We'll see what it brings to me today.
Don't go buy coffee.
No, I'm not.
Don't waste
I already
your
had to
money.
go get gas right by there and I wasn't even tempted. So it's fine.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And that's always what I think is like the danger zone. I always like have that feeling when I'm like, I'm not tempted. When's the temptation coming? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm not tempted today. Is it going to be tomorrow? And then it's when the temptations start that it's levels up. But
Yeah.
you can do it.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see in 75 days. And then I'll go get one. All the poor girls at Starbucks are going to think I died because they're like my best friends.
They're going to shut down. They're not going to be able to make it without you.
Oh, fuck. Literally. They like all like fight to get to the window to say hi to me because they all know me so well now.
That's amazing.
Sad. Yeah. When I finish and go back, I wonder what it's going to taste like or how it's going to make my body feel or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I remember last time I finished the last round of 75 hard at Transformation Weekend.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And then that's the one where all the food ended up being provided. I can't even remember why. Something went wonky with it. But anyways, so I finished it on the Friday was my last day. And then Saturday night they had creme brulee.
I was just going to say it. They had creme brulee.
Yes. And I love creme brulee. And I ate like, the bowls were not big. They were really small, but I hadn't eaten anything even remotely close to that in 2.5 months. Mm-hmm. And I had 2 bowls and I literally was like, I felt like my stomach was this big and I just instantly was like hurting. And I was like, oh, why did I do this? And why does it make me feel so bad when it tastes so good? Like,
well, it's all sugar, right? Sugar and dairy.
Sugar and cream, like heavy cream.
Yeah. I remember that. I remember watching you because we were all sitting in the big event room, or not the event room, the food room. And you looked so happy. I remember we were all sitting around eating and someone said, Amanda, they got creme brulee. And you were like, what?
Yeah. I know, and it came out in like big serving bowls, so they like cooked it in there instead of individual, and I just wanted to grab the whole bowl. I'm really glad I didn't, because I would puked. But
Amanda was throwing elbows to get to creme brulee. I remember that.
It was so good. So good. So good.
That's the thing, when life, like, you have to also celebrate what you've done, right? Like, eat the fucking creme brulee after you've done the thing. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't let it be a creme brulee every day for the rest of your life kind of thing.
Totally.
That's all.
Totally. Yeah. 100%. Celebrate you, but that's a whole other conversation we could have.
Then get back to work.
Totally. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, what a good conversation. I'm so glad we hit record.
I know, me too. Good. This worked out really well.
So good. Okay, well, I'm not going to cut you off. I'm going to let you do our outro, because I always
I know. One day we'll be professional and this will all just be done and we won't have to do it. But
that's okay though. We've got to do the thing. Just do the fucking thing. Show up and do it.
That's
100%.
Right. That's right.
Okay, go.
We're so grateful for all of you listening and leaving us reviews and tags on social media. Please be sure to hit subscribe if you want to be reminded when new episodes drop, which is every Monday. Please leave us a review, and a reminder that you can actually do this for every episode on Apple Podcasts. I don't know about the other platforms, but on Apple you can. With that said, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and you can see our beautiful faces on YouTube. If you ever have questions or want to reach out to us, we're still taking new guest speakers or ideas for guest speakers. You can find and follow our social media handles below, or email us at any time at selfloveuncensored@gmail.com.
100%. Tequila. I just saw that underneath our notes. So good. Thanks for your time today, Amanda. And thank you to everyone who's listened. I think the last time I checked, we're almost at 500 downloads. Woohoo. Which is like freaking amazing. So cool.
And listeners from all across the world. So thank you to all those people listening in Australia and wherever else you said, Germany and stuff.
Germany. Yeah. All over the US. Big in the Eastern US. So crazy. Cool. So good. Yeah. We love every single one of you. So thank you for being here with us. Until next time, my friends, have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.